Flashpoint Batman is from a universe where Thomas Wayne survived and became Batman when his son Bruce died. Barry Allen found this individual while trying to alter the timeline, and then supposedly eradicated him from existence, saving the proper timeline and Bruce Wayne, giving Thomas in the Flashpoint universe a happy ending. But he didn't die. Somehow Thomas Wayne got pulled into the main timeline, where he decided he needed to find a way to stop Bruce from becoming Batman. That the path of Batman was filled with heartache and disaster and ruin. This led him to teaming up with Bane to prove that he was the superior Batman and that Bruce should quit. Upon his defeat, he was brought into the Justice League Incarnate, where they tried to prevent the Dark Crisis from happening. It was during this battle that he discovered that Bruce Wayne's destiny was to become Batman, and to become the hero that we know. Coming to terms with this, he was in the final battle with the Justice League Incarnate until eventually they failed to stop the inevitable from happening, and Dark Crisis began. But Thomas Wayne wasn't defeated. He found himself suddenly back in a universe where it all started. Flashpoint. Somehow, it was brought back from destruction. So what is Thomas Wayne supposed to do now, and why does this universe exist? You have found yourself in the bizarre side of YouTube, where reality meets fiction, where your stories are read back to you in a dramatic fashion, where I get to pretend to be a voice actor. This is Comicstorian, and we take the time to make you a comic book expert by filling you in on the big moments happening within the world of comics. We do cut out the B-plots and limit our panel usage to prevent copyright problems, and we allow you to have something to read for yourself if you so choose to. I do recommend going to your local comic book store and starting your own collection, or you can use one of our sponsors, Shortboxed. Click the link down below to learn how you can win a graded comic book yourself and discover the world of collectible comics. Now today we're going to be covering issue 0 to issue number 2 of Flashpoint Beyond. It is still ongoing at the time of this video, so let's get into it. The sounds of a ticking clock echo throughout the destroyed office while Batman stares at a chalkboard with words on it, hardly making any sense, even to him. This office belonged to Rip Hunter, the Time Master, and the notes scattered speak of some crisis coming. Batman looks around and finds a vault stating that this is it. And a voice tells him that if they manage to find it, then that means that others will too. And if the owners return, Batman steps into the vault. The Time Masters have their own problems right now, I'd believe. They'll never know that we were even here. Marionette says that she and Mime don't exactly trust him any more than he trusts them, which he shouldn't. Mime lifts his hand and points a invisible gun at the back of Batman's head. Batman smacks it away. Put the gun away. We're here. Now which one of Dr. Hunter's gadgets is it? Marionette points to a snow globe with a broken watch around it, stating that one. That's Janie Slater's watch right there. Batman picks up the globe and watches it, telling himself that he shouldn't be doing this. He knows that, but he's doing it still. As Batman begins to leave, Marionette stops. Aren't you going to tell us what is so important about that thing? We all know how incredibly dangerous things here are. Batman continues walking out, not even answering her, and then stops at the chalkboard. There's one line on there that seems to get his attention amongst all the cryptic sayings. Thomas Wayne will die. Batman wipes those words off. And over in an entirely different universe, the world of Flashpoint, Thomas Wayne is woken up at his desk by Oswald Cobblepot. Hey, boss! Wake up. You need to sober up Before Thomas can even get his bearings, Harvey Dent kicks in the door shouting, You need to do something about this mess that you've created. Look, Dr. Wayne has had a rough night. He was extremely upset about the charges levied against him. He just wants to make things right. Dent begins to go into an outrage, ranting and raving. He tells them that Gilda, his wife, won't even talk to anyone since Thomas became obsessed with Martha. Batman may have saved his daughter from that lunatic, but the trauma that Martha put her through, getting shot, watching Commissioner Gordon die, that Joker, caused so many problems. And even with Martha dead, Debbie was haunted by that awful laughter. His little girl took her life because of that laughter. Thomas sits up for a moment and thinks that this isn't right. All of this has been changed. Martha never became the Joker. Barry changed it all back. He fixed the timeline. This is wrong! Thomas gets up, storming out without a word. And in the elevator, as everyone is yelling at him, from Oswald to Dent, his anger begins to grow. It begins to show, and it doesn't make any sense. Barry changed this world. I remember being ripped out of time by the Reverse Flash. Thawne turned me into a living paradox that shouldn't exist. Yet I do. I should be dead, and Bruce should be alive. But Bruce is still buried, next to his mother. Thomas begins to think about the journey he just went through, learning about the multiverse and how all of it was created, and what alternate worlds mimicking his own would be like. But this isn't a mimicking world. This isn't an alternate reality. Darkseid didn't send him to a parallel Earth. This is home. This is my reality. What the hell is going on? Thomas stands over the graves of his wife and his son, the ghost of Martha laughing, asking if he thought he saved their son. No, that was a dream. That's all. A wonderful little dream. But there are bigger things at play right now. There's a war raging all across the globe between Wonder Woman and the Amazons against Aquaman and the Atlanteans. Not only that, you left this Superman to save this universe, and he completely stepped back. Perhaps he's waiting for the other two superhumans to take each other out to begin his alien invasion. At least, that's what the news thinks. But Thomas has other things to worry about, like how any of this even exists. He begins to look through the phone book to look up the address of this world's Barry Allen, and when he looks over his shoulder at the chalkboard with all the clues he's been putting together, Thomas reads the words, "Everything matters." And he asks, "Who wrote that? Is that you, Thawne? Are you back? Is this revenge for me putting a sword through your spine?" "No, not here. Nothing matters here. Nothing matters!" He destroys the chalkboard, ripping out the piece of paper with Barry Allen's address on it, and he grabs his gun. "I am going to change all of this back, and I will save Bruce again, and I will kill whoever did this." That night, Barry returns to his home with a voice telling him that he blew it. Barry Allen turns around to find Thomas Wayne sitting in the shadows, and he tells him that he knows him. He's the infamous Thomas Wayne. Thomas tells him that that's right. "You remember me?" Barry tells him, "How couldn't I? Everyone knows about the famous Dr. Wayne." Thomas gets up. "Do you not know? Look, what I'm about to say is going to sound insane, but I am Batman, and Barry Allen is the Flash. You may have your mother and father, but your mother was murdered, and your father was unjustly arrested for it. Years later, you got struck by lightning and became the fastest man alive, so fast that you could break the time barrier. You traveled to the past, saved your mother. Like a bullet through glass, you shattered history. The reverberations from your actions rippled backwards and forwards, reaching out to the people closest to you and changed their history. The world right now is drowning in chaos, but together we restored it. However, someone is undoing our work. We need to put things back to the way they should be." Barry stumbles back at the thought of losing his mother, and then he looks up, telling Thomas Wayne to get out of here. "Get out of my apartment!" Barry turns back to call the police, and Thomas reaches into his jacket, pulling out a small syringe, sticking Barry with it, telling him, "Just relax. I just have to do things a bit differently now." So a short while later, Barry wakes up asking, "Where am I?" And Thomas finishes the last strap that will lock Barry Allen in place, telling him, "This is the tallest building in Gotham." Lightning cracks and lights up the sky, and Barry gets a glimpse of what Thomas is doing. He intends to hit Barry with lightning again, to give him back his powers. Thomas tells Barry that he's going to save people, everyone. "You just need to endure this." Thomas flips on the switch to attract the lightning to the chair that Barry is hooked up to. But that's the moment that a bullet shoots through, shattering some of the canisters of the reagents that turned the Flash into what he is meant to be. It's at that moment that the lightning strikes Barry's chair, shooting all of that unfiltered electricity through Barry Allen's body. But this time, without the chemicals. The only thing that is left is the charred and burnt body of Barry Allen. Before Thomas could even try and figure out what happened, there are sounds of tires screeching and a sudden crash. He looks over to see the burning wreckage of a car, and he hears the sounds of a little boy calling to his father. Thomas rushes over to get the boy out, and that's when he sees on a name tag on one of the bodies, Harvey Dent. That means that the boy that he just saved is the child of Harvey Dent, Dexter Dent. As Thomas begins to pull the child away, the child points up shouting, "There! That's the man that shot those things and scared my papa!" Thomas looks up to see an Atlantean assassin jumping from the rooftops, quickly catching up, asking, "What are you doing? Who are you? Why did you kill Barry Allen?" The Atlantean tells him that he was trying to hit him, but Thomas takes the spear gun and stabs the man in the arm, breaking his wrist. "You're lying! Talk!" The man informs him that it was Aquaman. Aquaman told him that Batman was going to use Barry Allen to change things. So Aquaman said to kill Batman. Thomas stops for a moment. He realizes what this means. Aquaman knows of this. But how? How does Aquaman know what's going on? The Atlantean tries to taunt Thomas, telling him that they're both killers and that they could work together. They could swap stories. Has Thomas ever watched a child die? Thomas screams in pain, thinking back to the night that he lost his son, and without realizing it, he bashes the Atlantean's head against the wall over and over, until there's nothing but a bloody mess left there. Before long, the GCPD arrive on the scene to put the fire out from the crash. Thomas changes out of his costume, and the commissioner tells him that he just keeps catching a break, huh? Judge Dent is dead, and that means that the impending charges against him are... But Thomas looks over at Dexter asking, why was the boy even with Dent? Commissioner tells him that after what happened to his wife and daughter, Dent took Dexter everywhere with him, paranoid that something might happen. I guess the kid is now going to end up having child services picking him up. Thomas stares towards Dexter when there's a sudden rush of air and a blur that shoots by with the words, "Thomas Wayne, over here, over here!" However, before Thomas could even look, whatever caused that rush of air, whatever sped by as a blur, was gone. Meanwhile, back with Batman, he returns to the cave trying to make sense of what he saw in Rip Hunter's office. But a voice tells him that this isn't going to end well for him or his dad. Batman tells him that he has to go away, he doesn't care, and the voice says that what he is doing could threaten everything, all space and time, the divine continuum itself. The voice argues that no matter how many times Batman has saved the divine continuum, he shouldn't do this, and that Rip Hunter's going to be furious when he finds out what happened. Corky Baxter sits up in one of the Batmobiles, revealing himself to Bruce Wayne. He tells him, "Don't say I didn't warn you. You just opened up a can of worms, and they're going to make you eat them." Meanwhile, back at the world, the Flashpoint, it is tearing itself apart, and while news reports start to come in about the destruction all over the world, Thomas Wayne set to eat breakfast with his new live-in guest, Dexter Dent. Nearly 20 years ago, Thomas watched his 10-year-old son get shot to death by a small-time thug named Joe Chill. He hunted Chill, and he killed Chill. But that wasn't enough, so he found everyone who reminded him of that cowardly criminal and killed them as well. It wasn't long ago that he met a man named Barry Allen who told him that this world shouldn't exist, that the past had been changed, and that the present was a twisted nightmare of the truth. Barry said that Martha and he were the ones who were supposed to die, not Bruce. That Bruce would grow up to become the Batman. So, Thomas and Barry had put things back to the way they were supposed to be, and yet Thomas exists, and somehow Aquaman is involved. Thomas informs Oswald to mind the boy, and then he returns to his cave to try and understand what exactly is happening. Could Barry be trying to save his mother again? Maybe the Reverse Flash altered time. But even trying to piece those together wouldn't make any sense. What about Aquaman killing this universe's Barry Allen? How does he know what's going on? So he will go and find out what he knows, or he'll gut the fish where he stands. But deep down in Aquaman's prison, Wonder Woman sits tied up. She begins to quietly whisper as they begin to talk about all the people that her Amazonians have killed. As they lean in to hear what she is stating, She bites off one of the Atlantean's slimy tentacles and spits it into the water. The other guard laughs, telling the one that had the bite happen that he shouldn't have been that close to her to begin with, and that they should leave. But that's when they both realize that there's something in the water. Seconds later, Thomas Wayne surfaces up, shooting both Atlanteans in the head. Wonder Woman is confused. "Batman? I thought you were dead." Thomas tells her, "So did I, but I didn't come here for you. I need to borrow that magic lasso of yours. I will kill you if you try to take it. I know that. I also know that that lasso is the only thing keeping you tied to that pole." "Then what?" "And because I need information from Aquaman, I'm asking you if I can borrow it. In exchange, you'll get to live. Maybe you'll even have enough time to free your sisters before this island sinks into the sea." Wonder Woman asks him, "Then what? I retreat back to Themyscira, forget my war with the rest of the world?" Thomas tells her, "No, you can do whatever you want. What happens to the rest of the world doesn't matter to me. Now, do we have a deal?" Moments later in the throne room, Aquaman sits with his trident and stares at the ocean orb, waiting. Wonder Woman's lasso is whipped around his neck, and Thomas comes out from behind the curtains. "Why did you send an assassin to kill Barry Allen?" Aquaman struggles, but grabs the slack, throwing Thomas up and onto the ground. And under the lasso's influence, he informs Batman that whoever sent the scavenger wasn't him. "Now, I'm going to tear your head from your shoulders." Aquaman pulls on the lasso, flinging Thomas towards him, punching him in the neck. But as this is happening, Thomas's comms turn on, and Oswald asks, "Boss, does this thing even work?" Thomas coughs, "I'm a little busy right now." "I know, but the casino, there was a bomb and it's been leveled. The casino is gone." Aquaman uncoils the lasso, throwing it to the ground, asking, "Do you think that you are the first to come and try and stop me, to save the world?" "I am saving the world!" Thomas crawls to his knees, asking, "Did you not send Scavenger? And the casino? Stupid! Someone wanted me out of Gotham. I've been played." Aquaman walks over to the ocean orb, telling him, "You were a fool to release Wonder Woman. She will burn this world to the ground. You know that. But she can do what she wants. Her and the Amazons will die on the island. It sinks as soon as I touch my trident to the... My trident, where?" At that moment, there's a low thunk as Wonder Woman takes the trident and stabs Aquaman in the back. His body slumps to the ground, and Wonder Woman tells him that his reign is over. And so is man's. He was a fool. She loved him. With his last breath, Aquaman tells her that he loved Mara, his only queen. Wonder Woman then turns to Thomas, telling him that their deal is done unless he wishes to try and stop her too. But Thomas takes the ocean orb, telling her that he got his answers. And with that, Thomas leaves Wonder Woman to her own devices. But back with Batman in his world, Flash runs into the Batcave asking if everything is okay. He felt something strange. Batman looks at Flash, asking him what's going on, and Flash tells him that Thawne is back. The Reverse Flash has returned. He tried to tap into the Speed Force again, and it spit him back out. He tracked him here, but now he's masking his trail somehow. Thawne's trail ends here. Batman goes back to his computer, stating that the defenses would have picked up a speedster individual. And Flash says, "Right, so I'm just gonna take a quick look around just in case. After this, I have a meeting with Jay, and if it's too much for us, we'll call in the League and the Society. It just feels like something is disturbing time, and we don't know who and we don't know how. We need to get to the bottom of it, Batman." As Flash is zipping around the cave, though, Corky tells Batman that the Flashes are going to figure out what's going on. It's not too late to undo what he's doing. Batman looks at the snow globe and tells him, "Yes, it is." Back over with Thomas Wayne, though, he returns home to find that there have been 3 more murders since he's been gone, seemingly all victims with no connection. But they all do have a connection, because all these people were like Barry Allen. In this world, Nathaniel Adam is a 90-year-old astronaut who was never caught in the quantum detonation that made him Captain Atom. A nameless man claiming to be from the future was deemed insane and institutionalized instead of becoming the Lord of Time. And a petty thief named Percival Sutter was in prison instead of unlocking the secrets of a temporal manipulation as Dr. Time. All of the individuals are people who would help him figure out what's wrong with the timeline. But that's when Thomas realizes something else, or rather that someone, Roger Hayden, the psycho pirate, is still locked up in Arkham. From what Thomas knows about Bruce Wayne's reality, Roger Hayden is the only one whose memories never change despite reality changing around him. Hayden isn't actually paranoid when he says that someone is always trying to reshape the world. But that also brings up another problem. He wasn't the one to bring Hayden over to Arkham. Someone drugged him and left him at the doorstep a few days ago. Someone wanting Psycho Pirate to be found. And as Thomas Wayne enters the room to talk to Roger Hayden, he discovers that his life has been taken as a noose is attached to the ceiling. Same as before. A rookie could tell that it was designed to look like suicide, but Hayden doesn't need to talk to tell Thomas something. Thomas looks at the scribbles on the wall, reading the ramblings of a madman, but he does pick up on a few things. Bruce Wayne is Batman, Infinite Crises, Judy Garrick. Judy Garrick. Who's Judy Garrick? He also notices another thing that states, "I don't think I'm the real Roger Hayden." What the hell does that even mean? I now have more questions than answers. But as he's attempting to leave Arkham Asylum, a woman stops him, and he recognizes her as Gilda Dent. She wants to know if her child is okay. Thomas just informs her that Dexter watched a harpoon go through his father's chest, and Gilda sighs, telling him to forget it. But before she turns away, she notices something in Thomas's hand, something that appears to be a casino chip. She heard about what happened. Can she see it? Thomas hands over the poker chip, telling her that it's hers. Just tell him what happened in Hayden's cell. She takes it and examines it, stating that she didn't see anything, but she heard a strangulation. It's how her own daughter died. She hung herself. She wanted to cremate her daughter, and Harvey was against it, but eventually, in the end, she won. What about you? Did you bury Bruce? Thomas stares in silence. Gilda screams that it was the least thing he could have done after what he did. Answer her! Thomas asks, what did I do? She tells him that he drove his wife insane. It started before his son's birth. Was it the drinking and the sleeping around that got to her? Or did Thomas Wayne just ignore Martha? You were always such a bad father. In a fit of rage, Thomas punches the small door window and Gilda bursts out laughing. Is that all? I can hit harder than that. Just watch. As she bashes her face against the small window and the glass over and over again, and while Thomas watches, he quietly says that it doesn't matter. She screams at him that it matters to her. The pain is real. Pain matters. Sometimes it's the only thing that does. Thomas hurries to the rooftop, telling himself that no, this is not his life. I fought to change it. I thought I did. None of this matters because it's wrong. Even if no one else could see it, I know that it's wrong. I'll make sure that none of this exists. I'll erase it all. But damn if it doesn't feel real. He heads back home, hearing a woman calling out for help, but he sees a group of thugs staring at the woman. Without a second thought, he begins to take out the thugs one by one, when one of them, the Captain Boomerang of this world, pulls out a gun, telling him that he'll do it. Thomas kneels closer, grabbing the barrel, holding it to his forehead. Try it. Pull the trigger. Now! Boomerang begins to cry, stating that he will, but his hand trembles, and Thomas takes the gun from him, pointing it back. It doesn't matter. But before he can pull that trigger, something throws him into the wall. And he looks up to see the Superman stepping forward with glowing red eyes. You heard that. You're wrong. Everything matters. Back over in Bruce's world, Corky stares at the snow globe, stating that the storm is coming. And he's trapped inside of a little globe. That the snow globe represents the world being shaken up, turned upside down, but everything gets put back to where it should be. And that his father is also stuck in a snow globe. Being stuck in a snow globe is really how it all is. Batman tells him, maybe, but being in a snow globe is also safe. Inside of the globe, the snowman never melts. Corky then continues to inform him that the globe and the watch are drenched in tachyon and stuff, and whoever they belong to, whoever the divine continuum took it from, and then Rip Hunter took that from, is going to come looking for it soon. And hopefully, Dr. Hunter and the others will get here sooner to back up Batman before that owner of that globe is here. Because if he shows up, boy is Batman going to be sorry about this whole darned thing. And that is Flashpoint Beyond, issues 0 through 2. Now, issue 3 just dropped, so if you want to go see what's happening next, go check out your local comic book store or check it out on the digital retailers. If you want to get early access, make sure you go subscribe to our Patreon or our YouTube memberships. And make sure you hit like and hit that notification bell to see when the next chapter of Flashpoint Beyond drops. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.